We're live.
All right, you want to welcome the three to this Board of Zoning Appeals meeting of April 28th, 2025. You've all signed in, so we're good there. This meeting will be recorded. You take the roll call.
I will. Brant Moore.
Here.
Chris Thomas.
Here.
Bill Rowe.
Here.
David Rowe.
Here.
Susan Ralston.
Here.
Attorney Kim Schaup.
Here.
Myself, Director Aretha Hicks, and our planner, Grace Essman. Here. You do have a quorum.
Everybody had an opportunity to review the previous minutes from our March 24th meeting. Do we have any amendments, additions? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Second. Do you have any old business?
I do not have any old business, sir.
All righty. Well, then we'll look to new business. Our first here. BZA 04001.
Okay. The application type is Development Standards Variance. The owner is Jeffrey and Rhea Klink. Applicant was Jeff Klink. Location is 425 Beverly Court. The zoning is R1 Low Density Single Family Residential. Title 18 of the UDO BZA 3674 series. The hearing date is today, April 28th. Legal notice was published in the Herald on April 18th, and 27 property owners within 300 feet were served a notice on April 17th. This is not within a floodplain. And I will scroll here. Property owner Jeff Klink is requesting approval to install a gravel driveway on his property at 425 Beverly Court. The proposed driveway would be approximately 500 feet long and 12 feet wide. Currently, there is not a primary structure at this address, only an accessory structure. The property is adjacent to Jeff Klink's main residence on Duncastle Court, and you will see that that one's also highlighted on that picture. He appeared before the Board of Public Works and Safety on March 3rd, 2025. It was determined that the portion of the driveway inside the public right-of-way must be hard surface. There are recorded access easements across the two parcels owned by Mr. Don Wise, James Don Jr. So if you look at yours, you'll see both parcels, and then this is what Mr. Klink had drawn up, the smaller picture there of the driveway. As you scroll down, the red is the right-of-way that will need to be hard surface, and the properties that you can just barely see highlighted in yellow are ones that are technically owned by Don Wise, but Mr. Klink has ingress egress access easements and a maintenance agreement to take his driveway across both of those parcels. And I have spoke with Mr. Wise, and he's totally knows what Mr. Klink is asking to do and in favor. Development standards variance, residential standards. C, materials. Driveways shall consist of asphalt, concrete, or other non-porous material approved by the zoning administrator. And the applicant is requesting a gravel driveway. So you will see further down the site photos. Sorry, this mouse is kind of funky. So back here is Mr. Klink's accessory structure to the rear. He has been accessing it, but just across the grass at this point. So this aerial is looking northeast. And as we continue, this area, you'll see kind of how that goes back. It just turns to dirt. And goes back. That's also looking northeast. Here looking northwest. And then directly above the parcel there. I don't know where I am now. So the contextual zoning, this property is zoned R1, low density single family residential. The surrounding land use is R2, which is Glendarren and the golf course. To the east is R2 as well, more of Glendarren and the golf course. To the south is residential, and then C2 Menards. And to the west is residential. And there is a C2 at the end of Beverly Court, which is Clarity Essential, I believe. So public input, at the time we did this, we had just received one phone call. We did receive more phone calls from adjoining neighbors inquiring about the notice. No one had anything negative to say. They were just wanting to know what exactly was happening. Staff conclusion. In conclusion, although staff is rarely in favor of gravel driveways inside city limits due to the location, topography of this lot, and the absence of storm drains or catch basins on Beverly Court, we do recommend approval. And that's all I have for the case, sir. And then, as I said, the easements are there if anybody wanted to look at that.
Any questions on the staff report from Rita? Okay, Jeff, do you want to speak? State your name and address, please.
Jeffrey Klink, my address is 111 Duncastle Court here in Angola. We moved into Glendarren and that accessory structure was behind us, kind of in a sad state, and we've improved it over the years. Get along with the grass driveway. If you don't drive in the same track on good sod, it'll last a long time. But this spring I had to come back from Florida early. Didn't have a problem, but for appealing, I would like to just get a driveway in, then I know where I'm driving and can clean up the neighborhood a little bit. The topography, I would hate to have to put a pavement and then we have runoff down to the pond that's down in front of me. This is my neighbor Angie. She's would be no problem with runoff her way. I'm a former excavator and a farm boy, and I just like to have my own driveway. Questions?
Susan, do you have any questions?
I do not.
And it would be maintained, you know, it's just the access going up that hill is a little dramatic. There is an easement in there with NIPSCO and the trench is still there. I don't want to do anything drastic. I just want a nice gentle driveway going up and then get to the barn and be able to have a turnaround.
I will add really quick as well that I did speak to our city engineer and just asked a little bit more about the hard surface. Because again, I'm not a huge fan of gravel driveways. You guys know that, but she did mention with the topography, the hard surface actually may cause more drainage issues than not. So you can keep that in mind and take it for what it is. But that was, the city engineer did mention that comment.
And you keep saying gravel, Rita, and I would like to consider that if I can find natural stone, crushed natural stone, because I think it's better than limestone. It's not dusty. If you get 100% granite, it's crushed. And once in a while you'll find it, but
Okay.
that would be my choice. But it may have to be limestone if allowed.
And then Jeff, I will ask you, you saw Amanda's comment, I think on that plan review, that it was like 5 days between the temp drive. Did you see the plan review?
That's kind of hard to. 5 days that it would have to be hard surface.
In the right of way. After the gravel was laid for, temporary in that right of way. But yeah, you can, and that was Amanda's comment if you want to talk to her.
Good.
Brent?
No, my biggest concern was the easement, so.
Donnie
As long as
actually,
it's there, that's fine with me.
Donnie owns that piece
Right.
right next to it.
I just didn't want to grant something that somebody later could come back and say, now you don't have access to it, which wouldn't be right for us to do, so. As long as that's recorded and have it, it's fine.
Nope. David? All right, thank you. Do you want to speak, anybody?
Andy, you wanna-
It has absolutely no impact on my property whatsoever.
You need to go up there and.
I usually loud enough, that's the problem.
State your name and address, please.
Angela Hendrickson, 365 Beverly Court. I am parallel to the empty lot where he's at off of Beverly Court. He has improved the property 110%. I can't imagine that he would do anything that's not either eco-friendly or he's planting trees repeatedly. And so I have no issues. It doesn't affect my sewer at all. I still have sewer. I would actually like to see an actual turnaround, but that's for another day. But yeah, I have no problems with it at all.
Okay, thank you. Further questions, discussions?
No, there's no conditions or anything, but is there anything we should put with the hard surface?
Yeah, I think that we will list the conditions that all comments and concerns from department heads are met. So I would add that with that are addressed, I guess, is what I need to say, that any comments or concerns from the department heads are addressed.
It was just the fire department, wasn't it?
I'm sorry,
The fire department was the only comment.
And the engineering.
and engineering, yeah.
So in our motion, probably should. say-
Yes, when we get to that part, we should say that. Okay, I'll read findings if you're ready for me.
Yes, please.
All right. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Well,
The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community, as there are no storm drains currently located on Beverly Court that could impact the gravel drive. In addition, or that could be impacted by the gravel drive. In addition, the Board of Works is requiring the proposed driveway to be hard surface within the city right-of-way. The stone for a temporary driveway inside the right-of-way will only be allowed up to 5 days. Agree or disagree?
agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as any improvement to the lot will be an improvement to the value and two of the 4 existing driveways on Beverly Court are also gravel. Agree?
Agree.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Well.
Will, the strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as the topography of the site allows for natural stormwater drainage. An increased impervious area could impede that drainage route and put the stormwater on the neighboring property. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay.
Chairman Rowe, may I ask staff a question? Rita, on finding number 1,
Yes.
the reference to the proposed driveway to be hard surface, but only for 5, could you explain that?
So the Board of Public Works, when he came before the Board of Public Works in the right of way, they're still calling it a driveway, but it has to be hard surface within the city's right of way. Then after
And how
that.
much- Where is our right of way reference to the driveway he wants to put in?
So our right of way ends where this red is here,
Okay.
and his driveway is this, will go this way, as he noted in this right here.
So the current road, if you go back to that picture, the current road ends at the open part of the red section.
So
So that
it,
whole red section
Yeah.
there will have to be added as hard surface.
that's what the Board of Works recommended he do.
And is that the plan?
That's his, yes,
That's, okay, so hard surface to the end of the red line and then gravel on beyond?
yes, or the stone that he's speaking
Yes.
of, yes, but that's,
It's,
Is that your understanding, sir?
yes, may I speak a little?
yes, you may.
If you drove out there at the end of Beverly Court, they repaved it about 3-4 years ago. But on the first 50 feet has asphalt on it. And then the next 50 feet, there's base there, never got paved. And I say it's asphalt, it's older asphalt, probably had a chip and seal on it and stuff. But I've never had any problem once I leave the asphalt. I could live with grass. I want a driveway.
But you're gonna put asphalt in that red area.
That's what who'd I meet with?
Board of Public Works.
Board of Public
and
Works
Safety.
and the mayor, yes.
Yes.
But they didn't have a problem with it. There's a sewer manhole down there right at the corner of the red, right where your arrow is. And then NIPSCO is on a pole and goes underground right across my driveway.
And then this board tonight is considering giving you permission to put
And
something less than a hard surface
No.
on beyond.
Oh, beyond, yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Thank you.
yes, we couldn't give him permission to do that in the right of way. The
Right.
Board of Works had to
Gotcha.
do that, yes.
Thank you very much.
I think we can entertain a motion.
Okay. All right. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the variance for driveway standards with the condition that all comments and conditions are addressed from department heads.
Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
thank you, Rita. Good help.
Okay, so we will go to the next piece. You want me just to go on into it?
Let's go on
Or
into
you want
it.
to introduce it? Thank you, guys. Project is 2025 BZA 04002, application type, development standards variance. The owner is Aaron Miller. The applicant is also Aaron Miller, location at 510 College Street. Let me actually I have to I'm so old. I have to take my glasses off, put my glasses back on. Let me
We do
get
have
to this.
bifocal contact.
Listen, no, I tried those. They're terrible. You get up to the top here. Mouse doesn't work. There we go. Okay. This is zone traditional residential, Title 18 Unified Development Ordinance, Indiana Code, BZA 3674 series. The hearing date is today, April 28th. Legal notice of the public hearing appeared in the Herald Republican on April 18th, and 29 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice. This is not within a floodplain. Aaron Miller is requesting a variance for his driveway width. The current driveway is 20 feet where it meets the right of way, but it does not align with the garage doors due to the misalignment. The Millers find it difficult to maneuver their vehicles from the southernmost garage door to exit the driveway. The proposed expansion is to the south and still meets the separation standard to the local street intersection. So as you can see on the screen, this is a drawing done by Mr. Miller, very well, by the way. So it kind of shows the way that his drive expands over, but it still doesn't hit the end of his garage, like his garage door's there. You can look a little bit better in some of these photos as I scroll through here. So this is development standard variance, of course, residential standards. B, width, a driveway shall be at least 9 feet wide, but it shall exceed 10 feet per lane and 20 feet overall. And that's at the right of way. We do not require driveways to just be 20 foot. At this point in time, once they get outside of that right of way, they can widen, but only 20 feet at the right of way. The applicant is requesting a 30-foot driveway where it meets the right of way. And so I'm assuming this photo doesn't show it super great, and Mr. Miller may, but you can kind of see there that it's very narrow and then it goes over, but it just doesn't align well. He can get himself into that garage, but he can't back straight out. And I will also, so this shows it a little bit better, this aerial photo here where he has to kind of maneuver to this garage door and then back out and go. So that is the complaint. And Mr. Miller can speak on it. I think this bush is gone now, but he can talk about that. The property is zoned traditional residential. Surrounding land uses include all traditional residential to the north, east, south, and west. So at this time, again, we hadn't received any input. We did receive one phone call. Again, it was just an inquiry, no issues, no concerns, just questioning what was happening. Staff conclusion and internal plan review was submitted to each department. The only comment received was the engineering department requiring the existing sidewalk within the proposed driveway area to be removed and repoured to 6-inch thickness. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the variance request with conditions set by the city engineer and those comments. And then I will note, as a side note, we have received many variance requests for 30-foot drive approaches. And most of that is because in new builds, people are doing that third garage door. So I think, and Brant and I have discussed this before, years previously or prior, when you receive so many requests, at some point you might look at updating the UDO, and that's what we are looking at. So that's a side note. I wanted to let you guys all know that because we've done several of this, not the same exact one. Usually it's new builds and they want to increase at that time, but so that's all I have.
Questions on the staff report? Mr. Aaron Miller, would you like to present? Name and address, please.
Yes, Aaron Miller, 510 College Street. Like Retha said, if you go to my picture that I kind of drew up and submitted, the garage, or the driveway going to the garage is off-center to the right. Not sure why they built it that way. But so what I'm looking for to do, like Retha also said, is that bush is gone. My wife and I got into the place about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So we're cleaning the place up. So that bush is gone. So we're wanting to bring that driveway down or over to the south about 10 feet to let us go straight into the garage, straight out. Our family is big. It's a larger family. We got lots of kiddos. And as they start to drive and stuff, it's going to be a lot easier for us not to have to jockey cars around, move stuff around. We can pull in and out and hopefully not have to move cars around as much, and also keep the cars off the street and in the driveway. So that's pretty much all I have. Pretty simple. Oh, thank you.
Susan, do you have any questions?
I do not.
No. No? I'm good. All right, I don't have any. Nobody in the audience?
I hope not that one.
Okay, I can move on to findings. Thank you, Aaron. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Will not.
It will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community as the proposed driveway still meets the standards for separation from the local street intersection. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner as the proposed driveway expansion will improve the use and value of this property and does not alter the setback distance to the nearest property line between neighbors.
Agree.
Agree. Thank you. And I think I forgot to say agree on the first one. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will.
It will. The strict application will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property due to the misalignment of the current driveway with the garage doors, resulting in maneuvering difficulties. Agree or disagree? And the only condition then is written on here with the recommendation from our city engineering department as you consider your motion.
All righty. Do I have a motion for BZA 04002?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Can you motion with this condition?
Condition, please.
Yes,
That's
a motion with the condition to replace the sidewalk with the proposed driveway with 6-inch concrete.
Thank you.
I apologize.
That's okay. I'll second.
Second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay, your motion is passed, your request. And you'll just need to do the permits when you're ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you. All righty, the next one is BZA 04003, and this individual works in my office, so I'm gonna have to opt off on this.
Okay.
Stay quiet, so this is gonna take over.
All right, we'll go ahead and let Aretha lead on.
Okay. Again, another development standards variance. The owner is Adam Miller. Applicant is also Adam Miller. Location is 1320 East Hanselman Road. Section 18.28040, development standards variance, side yard setback. His zoning is agricultural and he is in the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Title 18, Unified Development Ordinance. Let me get over here because I forget. I need to open the next one. BZA Appeals, Section 3674 Series. The hearing dates today, April 28th. Legal notice was served appeared in the Herald Republican on April 18th. 5 property owners within 300 feet of the project were sent notice. This is not within a floodplain. Adam Miller is requesting a variance from the side yard setback requirement of 30 feet to his east property line. If approved for the variance, Adam will be building a detached garage. For agricultural development standards, section 18.16402 or 020, a detached garage may be placed forward of a primary structure, but only if it is side loading and to the side of the primary structure's facade. Hence the variance request. The proposed garage meets all other development standards for height, size, everything else. So it's really the setback variance. What we're talking about there is if he could do it not to the side of the facade, he may not need the variance, but that is not allowed in the ag zoning. And you will see that the screenshot there just from Beacon that shows the lot overall. On this one, you see the proposed garage. Of course, it will match the exterior of his house and the driveway that he will be installing. In addition to the proposed detached garage, a new driveway will be installed with a permit from the county highway department. Moving the driveway will allow for safer ingress and egress to Miller's property, as it will no longer be on the crest of the hill. It will also allow better spacing between the driveway and septic system. Mr. Miller has received approval for the new location from Steuben County on condition that the existing driveway be removed. And that drawing again is there to the left. Again, this is a development standard variance in the agricultural standards, minimum side yard setback 30 feet for primary and accessory structures. Applicant is requesting a side yard setback of 3 feet. This first photo is the end view from the end of his driveway facing north. And then above and below is facing northeast view. This is from the back. Contextual zoning, surrounding him is agricultural all the way around except to the east. So the property to the east right here, you will notice his garage is probably not 30 feet, but they are zoned R1. So they have the 5-foot setback there. Everywhere else is zoned agricultural. Staff did speak with the neighbor that is directly to the east. Mr. Stewart did stop in just to check on exactly what was happening. He was sent all of the plans. He did not have any concerns with the setback. In conclusion, staff recommends approval of the variance request. Approval of this variance will ensure that the project complies with all other development standards and that no additional variances will be needed. It also fits in with the surrounding area. And that's all I have. Mr. Thomas.
Okay. Adam, you want to step to the podium? Tell us. State name and address, please.
Yeah, Adam Miller, 1320 East Hanselman Road, Angola, Indiana.
So we built this house, it's been 11 years now. County highway required us to put the driveway at the very east side of our property line, which was on the top of the hill, but it's a nasty turn in. So my kids, I don't have quite as many as he does, but the oldest is, we're a couple years away from him starting to drive, and it's a concern of ours. So we started looking at this possible next driveway, applied with the county highway, and they came out, the engineer ended up coming out and doing some measurements and stuff like that and agreed. He said, actually told me the driveway should have never been put up there. And I said, well, that's where you guys made me put it the first time. So they said, yep, as long as you do that, but you have to take away the other driveway. I said, no problem. I said, the plan is to put a garage there. And if you go to the next photo there with my lovely drawings on there, we've been trying to figure out where we want to put this detached garage. And the septic system, as you can see, I kind of drew the fingers. It runs out in front of the house there and down. So we can't build out towards the road down there. The septic fingers actually go almost all the way out to the tree line there, which is absolutely crazy how large that is. But and then we have a geothermal system that runs out of the walkout basement and runs along the property line. It will be beside the driveway, actually to the right of the driveway on that picture there. We do have to go over the geo system on part of the driveway, just where the lines run underneath the ground. According to the gentleman I talked to about the geothermal that installed that, said it shouldn't be an issue because there won't be a constant weight sitting on the geothermal like if you put a structure on there. So hoping that's accurate on there. I'm not very well versed on that stuff, but I'm hoping what he's telling me is true. Our ground slopes from the right side of that picture to the left side of the picture down like this the entire way. And just with how it sits, that's our flat portion of our property to be able to build on there. And we tried to look at going behind the house. Behind our house drops down and slopes down into that wooded area where the cursor is there, and actually floods a pretty good amount of the time when we get a lot of water. So it's not a spot that would work out very well for us either. And getting the driveway back there would be really, really long. But yeah, this is just, it's kind of limited. We've got just under 3 acres out there, but it's really limited where we could stick a detached structure at. So it's kind of our last resort.
And it's just a garage, right? There's nothing else.
Garage, no. 3-car garage.
Well, I, for one, am happy that the driveway will move because it is dangerous.
It's nice. Yes.
So,
Anybody got any other questions for Adam?
Thank you.
Any discussion among the board?
No, it makes sense here. I mean, it's a big variance to ask for, but the way the ground is, where it is, being agricultural, really, that's what it all is out there. So it makes sense.
I don't disagree, and I think I was a little bit surprised at first, and I said this because it is a large variance, but everything's ag, and then you've got this R1 in the middle of all that, so yeah, to the east, and he's still ag, so yeah, I get whatever you guys decide. Okay. Are you ready for findings?
We're ready for findings.
Okay. The approval of the variance will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community.
Well, not.
The variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. I cannot say that together of the community, as the proposed garage meets all other development standards, and it is still 60 plus or minus feet from the nearest neighboring structures.
Agreed.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner.
Will not.
Will not, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, as the proposed garage and relocation of the driveway will fit in with the look of the surrounding neighbors and adds value to the property. Agree or disagree?
Agreed.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Will.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property, as the topography of the area make this location the only practical location for the garage to be located. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. And I do not believe there were any conditions that were set forth unless you guys want to make one, but we didn't have any on our end.
We have a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve the accessory structure variance with no conditions.
Second?
Second.
Motion approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Your variance request is approved. Both Mr. Millers can contact us when you're ready for permits.
Alrighty, just out of curiosity, is there a time frame on that? Like, I'm hoping to get going here sooner than later, but is it a,
No, I mean, the variances last for 12 months, I think, without construction. So, I mean, yeah, come into us when you're ready and
I'll call you in the morning.
yeah, thank you.
we'll be ready for you.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank you. See ya.
That's good. Hey, I'm back. Yep. The driveway change, what is the process? We did talk to Brant because of the new construction, like Eastern Crossing, things like that.
So Mr. Story had come to us. Remember that, Brent?
Yeah, that's good.
He did kind of a blanket variance for any, June Bird was still here. It was, the board approved at that time that driveways could go the length of the garages, like the garage doors not past or anything and could go all the way back, but could not exceed 30 feet.
Just on that specified plat,
Yes, on the Eastern
On that
Crossing, on that.
Okay.
yes.
But we have seen so many requests and we've dealt with it here internally at the city, with just all these new builds, Glendarren, just all over that. Everybody's, wanting that third bay. And it just didn't used to be a thing. 20 foot was, the standard 2-car garage. And now there's the 3 cars that most houses are built with that third bay now. So I think amending the UDO is probably the way to go. I have spoken to our street department and our engineering department about that because they do the driveway permits. Part of why we kept 20 foot as well as when we're replacing a road, the drive approach is replaced by us, so do we want to go 30 feet? But at this point, our street superintendent and our city engineer said it almost makes sense in most cases to do that, and they didn't have an issue with that. So I will have to look through that whole process of amending the UDO, and Kim may be able to help on that thought, but what has to go with that and how you have to do that and present it and get it approved and go to council and do that amendment. But I think it's probably worth it just because we've done so many already. So that's our thought.
My question is 30 big enough? Because what about, there's a lot of homes that are being built with 4-car garages.
Yeah.
So,
I think, in just talking to our street superintendent and city engineer, 30 is about the max that they want to go. And there's been a few that, there's been some new builds that honestly have been 30 and we just haven't caught it. And then it's like, well, I've done it with these. Why aren't you letting me do it with these? And we just end up getting in this. So it's to keep it clean. Either everybody needs to do a variance or we need to amend that to allow it. It's happened multiple times. And so that's our thought. And I get what you're saying. You're not wrong. 4 cars are coming in as well. But at this point, I think per the engineer, 30 feet is about as max as we would like to go. If they need to do more than that, then they would have to apply for a variance. Yeah.
And like you said earlier, it's just where it meets the right of way, so they can't always expand outside of that right of way too if they needed it to.
Yeah, which is what some of them have done. They've come in and then they expand over, but every one of them has complained. We hate backing and trying to maneuver and it just is a pain and I get it. So I think that's an amendment we'll look at in the near future if you guys agree.
Oh, yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think that's good.
and we hate it as insurance agents when they back into their own vehicle or something.
through the garage door, then made a call. We got a real.
So yeah, I think if you guys are okay with that and you see the benefit, I think that we may pursue that amendment and I'll get with Kim on that process. All right.
Anything else?
No,
We do have something else.
we do have a little something for Mr. Moore. Do you want to read that?
Yes, I do. Presented to Brant Moore, 4/28/2025. Thank you for your many years of service to the city of Angola. We sincerely appreciate your time, hard work, and valuable input over the years. Wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors. City of Angola. And you said 25?
I look back,
close.
it's about 25 years. Yeah, Grace, will you get a photo?
Mayor Solomon's last year.
Hold on, Phil, will you hand that back to
So did I.
Grant and we'll do a
Did ya?
photo? Yeah.
Hold it.
Get your hair.
Yeah, make sure the hair's fluffed.
Or do you wanna, let's go over here.
Yeah, go over that way in front of, so I tried to look back at old minute meetings. I went back about 2021 and I didn't have anything that was earlier than that. And so I couldn't see for sure, but he was in all of those.
Will you email that to me?
I will, absolutely. Yes. So Brent, here's an envelope. There's a little thing in there that you can prop it up with. So
Great, thank you.
you want to put it on the new desk in the new house
You
and
know, it's
Right on the mantle.
been interesting. I mean, we got into some really strange cases over the years, that's for sure.
oh my goodness, yeah. Really has.
About, I don't know, 5 different planners, maybe 6.
So you were you here with Julie Cole,
Yeah, and before that,
Brooke Steed?
yeah, Spidell,
Yeah. Julie, then Vivian, Jennifer, and me. Yeah. Fidel, Steed, Julie, Vivian, just so 6.
That's going back a while.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Well, and not only, I mean, he served on BZA that whole time, but then also Plan Commission. So he
last
stepped
couple
into
years.
that, yeah. So he's been into that, which Chris will then take his role on BZA, and Chris will also be serving on Plan Commission in Brant's role. So we appreciate that. But Brant was also volunteer firefighter for
20 years.
20 years.
I
So
don't remember that.
Yeah.
his service to this community.
It was kind of an odd thing. Jim Burnham, I don't know if you remember him, he had a clothing store.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was on BZA and he got into a spat with Mayor Selman and threatened to leave. And Mayor Selman said, I accept your resignation. And it was on the.
Was it on
the news.
parking on the mound?
I don't know. Could have
That's
been.
what he was about, parking on the
Could have been,
mound.
but, they got into a spat and it was on the news that he was leaving. And so I called Mayor Selman and said, hey, I'd like to volunteer. And he was like, are you kidding me? Nobody calls it volunteers. And so he was kind of glad because he was getting back to Jim Burnham for threatening to quit. So that's kind of the way now.
So 25 years later.
25 years later.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're excited for you, and retiring from your job is a big deal, and moving closer to your grandbabies and your daughter. So it'll be a nice change. So thank you.
It's been good. So thank you. Always
Did you have anything
Nothing
else?
else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, actually, let me say this. I'm
All day,
sorry. Tomorrow is the deadline for the May 27th meeting. So the next BZA meeting would be, Memorial Day is there, so it would be the Tuesday, don't forget. But tomorrow is the deadline, and as of now, I don't have any applications, so
Okay.
we may or may not end up with a meeting that month.
We'll let you know by the end of
Yeah.
the week.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Okay.
Now do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, second? Second. Yes. Done.
Okay, thank
You
you
guys
all.
have a wonderful day. Great dinner.
That's pretty good. Thank you, Dave.
Grant was my music teacher.